Welcome to the Jackson Rudolph Podcast. I'm your host, Jackson Rudolph, and this is episode 90. Can you believe it? We are only 10 episodes away from 100, which is going to be wild. I'm working on some of the plans for that right now. And this weekend, we got Super Bowl weekend, so you can't see right now because the title's covering it up, but I'm repping my team, the New York Jets, which I don't always admit to people. But hey, because I'm a New York Jets fan, I got to roll for the team that historically hasn't been very good. So I'm going with Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow. I like Matthew Stafford. I wouldn't mind seeing the Rams win, but I got the Bengals winning. I'm going to go, let's go 27-24 Bengals. But enough of that. Let's dive into the show this week. We got Morgan Plowden, who's going to be doing an interview coming up real shortly, but we're going to open the show with news as we always do. So I'm going to go over a few of the big news highlights this week in sport karate. You've probably seen some of them going across the bottom of the screen already. But just to hit some of the highlights, Team Diamond with Coach Damian Rodriguez absolutely dominated at the North Georgia Open. Multiple wins in the fighting divisions. I saw Brian Rodriguez with a win. I saw Luis Nunez getting a win. Rashad Eugene on the forms and weapons side won double grands for forms and for weapons. So Team Diamond went out there and absolutely crushed it. So shout out to the newly formed Team Diamond. That team is a threat and they are legit. Speaking of North Georgia Open, they brought in, one of the reports that I saw said, over 400 competitors. That's crazy for it to be. It's a budding national event. They just recently moved over to the NASCAR circuit, not on the World Tour yet. But to see that event growing so quickly is absolutely incredible to see that. So shout out to the North Georgia Open for getting over 400 competitors. That's awesome. Hats off to you guys. Another event that was happening over the past weekend was the Sensor Sports Strike League Grand Prix, which had Carmichael Simon involved, as well as Chad Cannon. They got a lot of the top fighters in Texas together to go through that kind of Grand Prix style format with the sensor-based sparring where you would see the light go off if somebody got hit. Peter Chartouni wound up being the winner of that whole thing, so congratulations to Peter. Black Belt Magazine ran an article this week. This is somewhat sport karate related because we got sport karate guys that do the traditional WKF style stuff. And karate is unfortunately yet to be confirmed for the 2028 Olympics. We already know it's a no-go for 2024, and it's kind of a question mark for 2028. However, Taekwondo and Judo, two other martial arts, of course, are still going to be included as they have been for many Olympics in the past. And, the end of our news segment tonight will be a happy birthday shout-out. It is D-Stacks, Darren Payne's 18th birthday, so big shout-out to Darren Payne, newly crowned Warrior Cup champion. It is his 18th birthday today, so got to give a shout-out to him, representing Team Next Level. Now, the last thing that we got to hit for our news is we got to talk about our JRP Challenge winners from last week. So I'm going to do a screen share real quick and share with you guys some of those winners. So I'm going to click the share button here, and then we're going to get Morgan in here ASAP. But first, we got to give a shout-out to these winners if I am not technologically challenged tonight. Here we go. So I'm sharing Instagram. We got two winners this week. We've got Robbie Sanchez, who is out here. Let me go ahead and make sure I got this format right. Perfect. All right. So we got Robbie Sanchez out here. Going to play his combo. Throws the skipping front kick. The challenge was to do a one-legged kicking combination. He takes it right into the machine gun kick, a little bit of old school, finishes it off with the side kick. So shout out to Robbie Sanchez, and thank you for participating in the challenge. And then we got another one here with Savannah Augusto. She's also got the skipping front kick to the low side kick, a few round kicks, another side kick, throws the axe kick, little hook kick on the end of it. So shout out to Robbie Sanchez and Savannah Augusto for your submissions for the hashtag JRP Challenge. I appreciate everybody that is joining the challenge every single week. We're going to have another challenge announced at the end of the show this week, so make sure you guys participate. Really appreciate that. And if you're enjoying the show tonight, make sure you give it a share, drop those likes, drop those comments. Love to have you guys tuning in and always appreciate the support. Without further ado, it is time for the main event of the evening. We are going to bring in the legend herself, Miss Morgan Plowden. Morgan, how's it going?
It's going good, Jackson. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. And thank you for taking the time tonight. I know you got a really, really busy schedule. You said you just finished up some training and teaching, right?
Yes. Fridays are always a really busy night.
I understand. Anybody that runs a martial arts school knows that. So to open the show, could you just introduce yourself a little bit? Because we do get a lot of sport karate viewers that at least should know who you are. But we also get a lot of viewers from Black Belt Magazine that maybe haven't experienced sport karate before. So just kind of give us the rundown on who is Morgan Plowden.
Yeah, I'm Morgan Plowden. I am a 12-time world champion. I do point fighting. I'm based out of Detroit, Michigan. And then I'm also an instructor at my father's martial arts school.
That's awesome. So we're going to dive right into it. We're going to get to a lot of your biggest accomplishments and everything. But first, it's always interesting because in sport karate, we always talk about, what tournaments have you won and what was your favorite fight, stuff like that. But we don't talk about enough, like going back to our roots and how things got started. So what is that origin story for you? Obviously, your dad was a world champion competitor, right? So karate had to be around even before you started doing it.
Right.
For you?
Yeah, so I grew up in the karate school. That's pretty much how it started. When I was 4, the age for kids to start in the school was 5. So I can remember being 4 years old, and a lot of the parents in the karate school, they asked me like, "Morgan, your birthday's coming up. Are you gonna start?" And being a little stubborn, I was just like, oh. And my 5th birthday, it came and went, and I didn't start karate. It wasn't something that my parents really pushed us for. And it was almost a full year after me turning 5 before I went to my dad, and I was like, okay, yeah, like I think I want to start. Like, you're around it every day. You're in the karate school all the time. You see everybody doing things that and it just kind of got to the point where it was like, yeah, I'm ready. I want to do it. I'm in the living room, like throwing roundhouse kicks. Like, I think it's time.
That's awesome. And so, of course, as we mentioned, with your dad being a world champion and a former Team Paul Mitchell member and all the accolades that he has, it seems that the transition to competing in tournaments would make a lot of sense, right? So where did that happen for you? And was that your idea? Was that dad's idea? How did competing start?
Yeah, so it's funny because I've been competing since I was a gold belt. So since I was a kid, I can remember my first tournament, and I was an extremely shy child. And I can remember, going up to the judges and like trying to do my forms introduction, and they were leaning in because I wasn't loud enough. So it was just something that we did within the karate school anyway. But as far as like really competitive and like taking it serious, so I was a softball player. I played softball all throughout high school. I started at 9. I was the starting pitcher for my high school team, and I was really good. And I went to college and was playing softball in college. And my dad's number one rule was, while I'm doing softball, I can't do karate. Like, there was a season for softball and there was a season for karate when I was coming up. So I kind of did half and half. Like, my brothers, they would go like to the western part of Michigan and do little tournaments, and I would be at home with my mom because it was softball season. So there were little things like that I missed out on. I think Avery and then my other brother Evan, they did Kumite Classics for years before I even stepped foot in Pittsburgh. And it was because it was during softball season. We had our city championship game. It would be that weekend before Memorial Day, a couple days before, and my brothers and my dad, they would watch, and then right afterwards they would get on the road and head to Kumite. And it was something that I was a little jealous about, but I love softball. Like, I like doing it. And I went to college. I played a year of softball in college, and it didn't work out. I kind of fell out of love with softball, and Avery and my dad went to Ireland. And I was sitting in my dorm room, and I can remember sitting there and like, I want to be in Ireland. Like, I want to be competing in Ireland. Like, why am I here in my single dorm room? Like, that's what I want to do. So I kind of had a little come to Jesus moment with myself. Was like, well, do I really want to stay here? Do I really want to continue doing another 3 years of softball, or can I finish school at home and travel and do karate with my brother and my dad? And that's what I decided to do. I came home. My dad didn't let me spar for weeks after I came home because he wanted to really make sure that I was serious. Like, this is what I really wanted to do. And that my dad was always really good about maintaining our space with our relationship with karate and making us want it more. And yeah, I did Amerikick that March when I came back from college. I didn't do so well, but I was hooked. Like I was stuck. I'm in love with karate, and it's always been that way.
That's awesome. I love that. And what's so interesting about that, and when your dad was on the show, he told me the same thing, that he didn't push you to get into karate or to get into competing. In fact, now hearing your side of the story, he told you to focus on softball when it was time for softball and not do karate. So tell us a little bit more about just kind of coming up under him and having him and that dynamic of him being your dad and also your coach and instructor. And because it's really unique. A lot of people in the martial arts get it, but not at the level that you guys have gotten it with all three of you, your dad, yourself, and Avery becoming world champions, Warrior Cup champions, Diamond Ring winners, 9 yards, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to give my dad a lot of credit. Both of my parents, they always did a really good job with, being our parents and not putting too much pressure on us. And as our martial arts instructor, that was something that my dad did really, really good. He didn't take karate home. We had a rule in the house, which he tells this story all the time. We could not talk about karate. We would come home and he was dad. And after a while, like as Avery and I got older, it drove us crazy because we're home, like you're home. We have questions. We want to talk about it, but it was number one rule. Like we did not talk about karate at home. And I think that was something that, helped us with our relationship, just as, kids and a father, but then also as a dad and a martial arts instructor. And it probably helped him with his mental health too. He wanted to be dad at home. Like he didn't want to come home and, take work home. So yeah, he did a really good job. Our parents also both put us in a lot of other sports. They wanted us to have the taste for other things. When I was a kid, I ran track, I played tennis, I did softball. We tried a bunch of different things to see what we really liked. And of course, like I said, softball, I played for a long time and it was a lot of fun, but for some reason, I always came back to karate.
That's awesome. And it's all about the love of the game, right? I tell people all the time that if you're a sport karate world champion, you're not in it for the money. You're not in it for the fame because we don't get a whole lot of that, right? We're admittedly kind of big fish in a small pond. There's less money in the sport now than there was pre-pandemic, but we're working on getting that better. So it's like truly anybody that does this full time, it's a passion project. We do it because we love it. And it's so special that you were able to share that, with your family, because that's something that at the highest level, not everybody gets to do. And I keep saying the highest level. And, in my opinion, you are the best female point fighter in America right now, pretty much unquestionably, and arguably the best female point fighter in the world, right? So what was the moment? Was there a fight? Was there a tournament? When did you realize that you had that in you? Because you mentioned in the comeback that you didn't have a very good tournament, right? So when was the moment that clicked?
Yeah, that's a really good question because looking back, you see and you're like, oh, it could have been there. It could have been there. But when you're in it, for my, my mental health, for my state, I never look at it like, going in like, oh, I'm the best in the world. Like I have to take each moment by each moment by each moment, because if I get caught up in it, then I'm going to freak myself out. But that first tournament, like I said, I went to America, didn't do so well. And then the next one after that at the time was Gator Nationals and I won my first overall. So it was that very next tournament where I was successful and I did well, but it wasn't like I was winning everything, right? I was winning every tournament. But I was winning overalls. I was doing well. And I had a really good year in 2012. I kind of went on a little run. I won New England Open. I did well at US Open. I didn't win. But I won Diamond Nationals that year. I had a really good run and I did well. I was beating some really good people. I can remember New England Open. I fought Chelsea Nash. I fought Marissa Mayer. I fought Claire, and I won. And I was happy to win that overall, but looking back, I was like, man, I had a really good tournament. And it's like people that I'm fighting in my division, like in runoffs and overalls, like it was a really good day. And that could have been a turning point. But yeah, it was just, that was a really good year. I want to say the following year it was also good, but I had moments, where you can't win all of them. You don't win all of them, but you kind of did reach. I reached a point where I was making less mistakes. I was winning way more than I had before, and with good points in between, like with a good cushion, and I was confident. So I would say somewhere around there, but I really don't know. Like that's the short answer to that long answer. But it's been fun. Like looking back and I think about all the things that I've won and I'm like, wow, like I've really been blessed. Like when I look at my resume and look at the things that I've won, and I don't think, it's not like I go out and it fills me up. And it's really cool. Like it's something that I never, as a kid, even as a teenager, I never thought that I'd be like when I'm 31 years old. Oh, you have 5 Warrior Cups in the house. Like, get out of here. I would not believe myself.
That's awesome.
I would not believe it.
And you mentioned that resume, right? And you're not one to brag on yourself, so I'm going to brag on you a little bit because it's my show and I reserve the right to do that. And I'm going to read it because some of these numbers are so big that I can't memorize it, right? So 4-time Diamond Ring champion, 5-time Warrior Cup champion, 2 of the most coveted awards in all sport karate, 12-time WKC world champion, 12 of those, right? And that's an annual event. So like you got to win that a lot to get 12. It's not like other world titles where you can stack a whole bunch of them up at once. No. 12 is a big number for WKC. Yeah. So when you look back on all of those big wins, whether it be the prestige of the event or the caliber of the fighter that you were facing to get that title, whether it be the final or the semifinal, because there's always going to be that other great fighter that you have to duke it out with to get the prestigious title, right? Looking back on that, are there 1 or 2 or 3 fights that you look back and you're like, that one felt good?
No, that's a really good question, Jackson, because I can remember most of them, and I love winning so much. They all feel good. I may not be happy with my performance as some as the other. My 4th Warrior Cup, I came back from losing like pretty decisively. And that felt good when I came back and won, but I was not happy with the way that I fought, right? And that one, I look at that one means something. The one that I probably won after my coming back from my ACL surgery, like that's pretty cool too. Even anything I won that year, actually in 2018, I was so happy because recovering from that ACL was really, really hard. And a lot of people doubted me. Like they said that, I wouldn't be as good. I wouldn't be the same fighter. I wouldn't be as good as I was before. And, not to take it personal, but I took it personal. And that recovery was hard. Like that was not easy. And I wasn't happy because I wasn't competing and I wasn't training the way that I wanted to. And every time I won after that, I was appreciative. Like I was so grateful. I was so thankful. Or even the most recent diamond ring, like that's cool. Like everybody has some trials and tribulations. Everybody has something that they're going through that you probably don't know about, right? 2021 was a great year because different things happened. Like we were able to get back out there and really compete on a regular basis. But like, everybody goes through stuff. Like stuff happens. So that most recent diamond ring, that felt good. Like that felt great. And that was number 4. Like I can remember when I won my first one. And my dad, he told me how proud of me he was. And that, the diamond ring, when he was competing, they talked about it being a symbol of excellence. Like I felt amazing. I was so happy just because I won that one. That meant so much to me. And now I have 4. I was I was looking at I have this mirror that opens up into a little armory in my jewelry box, and I have my diamond rings. And just today, I was just looking at them, opening up, looking at them. Like, it feels good. I love competing. I love winning, and the fact that I am able to do this, and be as successful as that I am with my family, with my friends, and enjoy it. Like, I just love it. It fills me up.
That's awesome. And one thing I love about that little story there and seeing the diamond rings this morning, right, is that it reminds, like, especially for like the kids that tune into the podcast and that see you fighting on stage, me doing my bow form, whatever. It's like, it's a subtle reminder that we're human, right? Because I've had experiences that's the exact same thing, right? Like, I keep my diamond rings in this little pouch that travels with me because for certain events I'll wear one of them or something. I'll never wear two of them at the same time because that's but, I'll put one on or whatever. It's like sometimes I'm like going through my backpack and I just take a second. I'm like, I did that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Human. Like, it's okay for us to feel that way. You know what I mean? I think that's a really cool part because I think that's something that's really relatable to. I feel like sometimes people think that, like, once you're there, it doesn't feel the same, and it's like, no. It feels just as good every single time after. You know what I mean?
Just as good.
Speaking of being there, and with the resume that we read off for you, now we're going to get into the classic sports conversation of the Mount Rushmore, right? Because you're somebody that I would put on my Mount Rushmore of women's fighting, right? And I'll go ahead and get mine to make it a little bit easier for you too, right? I'm gonna have you give me your Mount Rushmore, but I would go yourself. I'd put Chelsea Nash, I got Nikki Carlson Lee, and I'm going to go Christine Bannon Rodriguez as my 4. And of course, there's others, right? You got Dottie White, Linda Denley. I mean, there's tons of names you could go for, right? But now I'm going to ask you, and you can choose to include yourself or not. That's up to you. What would your Mount Rushmore of women's point fighting?
Yeah, so this is, I feel like I always say this. This is a really good question because it's something that, you don't want to leave anybody out who's really good, right? Those fighters that you just named are amazing. And oftentimes I wish I could have a time machine just so that I could go back and, like, watch different people and just see what it was like in those times, because that would be just so good. I'd even want to go back just to watch my dad fight, but I don't want to put myself on there because I think that that's cheating a little bit. But I would say Linda Denley. You mentioned her. She was amazing. Somebody who I really look up to. My dad told stories about her, like, just growing up. And when I finally met her at Capitol Classics, I was kind of starstruck just because you hear about, different stuff like that when you're younger. I would say Nikki Carlson Lee, an amazing fighter, from what I've seen and from what I've heard. And then I'm gonna go a little modern. I'm gonna say Regina Thompson. And I'm gonna say Claire. Definitely.
Yeah, those are both great, and those are names that I should have mentioned when I was giving off. We're in it too. Regina Thompson, Claire goes 100%. Their names are on that list too. And it's just such a fun conversation to have because I feel like having that conversation brings those names back up, and then people go and they YouTube their fights. And it's even back in like the 80s, you can go on YouTube and you can find a lot of these all-time great fighters, forms and weapons competitors. Just go on YouTube. If you search long enough, you can find them. And that's why I love bringing up that conversation. So anybody that's tuning in live, feel free to go ahead and drop who's your top 4 female point fighters of all time. Get that discussion going down in the comments as well. So now we're going to move on. We talked about Rushmore. Now let's flip the script on that a little bit, right? We've talked about some legends. Now let's talk about some up-and-comers, right? Because I know you teach, obviously, within that Team Plowden karate system coming up as well.
Yeah.
I know that as one of the top fighters in the game, of course, you're keeping your eye on who's moving up to that adult division to make sure you're a step ahead, right? So who are some young female fighters right now that you want to recognize as kind of that next generation that when you decide to hang the gloves up, maybe one of them can be the next Morgan, to be that next talent?
Yeah, you mentioned teaching because it's something that I love seeing, especially with young women, is seeing them really, hone into themselves and find their own. But yeah, as far as up and coming fighters, one thing that I did do at WKC was look at that 15 to 17 division. And some of those girls are really good. And it's interesting because, WKC is by weight. So you see the different sizes that they are. So yeah, even some of the ones that were there, I'd say May from Duvers School, she's amazing. She's really good. She's definitely somebody to look at. I believe she won the 15 and 17 when all the weights fought against each other. And the young lady from Mexico, Cassandra, she fought in the women's division at AKAs. She's good too. And then it's a lot of good young ladies on that VFT card coming up at the end of this month. It's a lot of good ones to really look out for. I have to shout out my girls from Michigan, Avery Sutter and Linda Grout. They're both on there. But there's some other good young ladies on there too. Brianna Tua, she's on there. I fought her sister before, who's also really good. Autumn Bloomer, she's a very young and hungry fighter. Emma Cullinan, she's good. She also did WKC, another one to look out for. And that's been doing it since they were kids, and they're sticking through it because it's definitely something to pay attention to, and you want to cultivate that, especially when you're talking about how do we keep the sport going. You want to see what really made them stay and make them keep going, and see what helps them get over that hump and really go into the women's division, because sometimes we lose girls, sometimes we lose people, and you want to see what that pattern is and kind of see how we can make it better.
Absolutely. And you mentioned that VFT Ladies Night card coming up that's got a ton of talented fighters on there. When I saw Jessie Ray announce that there was going to be a VFT Ladies Night, I was kind of crossing my fingers and hoping that we would get a Morgan Plowden fight. Is VFT something you might be interested in? Sorry to put you on the spot, but I'm genuinely.
Yeah, not right now. I love that tournaments are coming back and everything. I love the VFT. Avery did it, and I loved going and supporting him, especially at the time of year that it was. That was pretty cool. But I don't think for me right now. I'll never say never, right? But right now, no. I think that the VFT is amazing. I love it. I've watched the majority of them because I'm an addict. But for myself, I'm gonna say not right now.
Being a sport karate addict must be genetic, because your dad gave the exact same quote. But you said something really interesting on that previous topic about how sometimes we lose girls and we don't get those girls that go on to the women's division. And that's been a hot topic of conversation right now, is getting more participation in particularly the 18 plus women's fighting division. One thing that I've even heard kind of batted around before is that, oh, well, Morgan's too good. Nobody wants to fight Morgan, so nobody's showing up, right? I don't think that's the problem, because real martial artists want that challenge, right? But in your eyes, what can sport karate do? Whether it's something that us competitors can do, or something that is it rule changes? Is it something promoters can do? I have a feeling that might be what it is. In your eyes, what is it that we can do to help bring more female fighters to all these big tournaments, and even on a regional, just getting more participation in women's fighting across the board?
Yeah. So you mentioned rule changes. I don't think rule changes are really what's going to make or break the tournament or the circuit, to be honest, because we have so many, and guess what? People still come out. Like, we're still going. I may not like all of them. I can tell you, I could go down a list of different rules that I would change, right? But guess what? I still go. Like, I still fight. You have to adjust to the rules. So I don't think that that'll be something that makes or breaks or gets competitors to come. I think a lot of it is the culture, and it's the culture of, like you mentioned, regional events, and whether or not you're going to participate in those or compete in those versus the national events, and what you're really trying to get out of it. But it's something that the sport has always struggled with transitioning men or women from the junior division to the adult division. And I think that it's a couple different factors in play, right? Some people go to college, and it's a little harder for you to really stay focused and disciplined to be able to train how you want to and really move forward. Another thing is someone might get a job, and that's another thing where there's a high demand in one area and you don't know really how to balance it. So I think if people see it work or see it happening, then it's a possibility to cultivate that and really, encourage people to stay and compete. It's something that Avery and I try to do with our young guys is like really stay tuned when they're transitioning, like from that teenager to the adult years. Make sure that they're on track. Like, how's school going? Do you need help? Like, do you need any advice? I've had girls reach out to me who live across the country, and they're like, how did you do it? Or people reach out to Avery and ask, how did you do it? And I think that that's something that we need to be a little bit more honest about and upfront, and really try to coach people, not just about like coaching how to fight, but coaching how to balance it all, like how to maintain life, and also maintaining training, maintaining the right mindset, and maintaining having a social life. Because a lot of times people want all those things and they don't know how to, have their cake and eat it too. It's kind of hard. And it's up to us as instructors, as coaches, to really try to pay attention to how they're transitioning. You can tell if somebody's dropping off, or if they're not really training, or they're not picking up the phone, or they're not, in the right proper shape. You can tell. I think that it's up to us to really understand or try to encourage them, and help them. That's something that I think is super important, especially because I went the college route and I see how you can do both. I've seen how Avery can do both, but I've seen how it can be hard too. So if you don't have somebody that you could talk to, then you realize, like, okay, something's going to have to be sacrificed. And most of the time it's not karate. Most of the time it's not.
Right. I love every bit of that, because I preach that on this podcast all the time, because I started the podcast when I was still in college at Stanford. And that was I think it was the second or third topic on the show, was just about college in general, and how do you balance a sport karate career with that, and how you can use a sport karate career to help you achieve your academics. Like, I tell people all the time, I would not have gone to Stanford if it was not for sport karate. Like, the fact that I could write in an application, I became the best in the world at something. I became the number one ranked competitor in this division. There's not many other applicants that can do that. And I think you also hit the nail on the head by saying, why do people leave sport karate? People go to college and people get jobs. And what do college and jobs do?
They pay.
Exactly, right? And sport karate isn't able to provide that. Now, I'm not saying that promoters need to whip out their wallets and just start giving out more money. But what I am saying is that as a community, we need to continue taking the steps to get more eyeballs on the sport. Eyeballs bring sponsors. Sponsors bring money. Money means prize money goes up. Competitors stick around longer because we're making more money, right? And so I think that loop continues to just revolve around and around if we keep pushing in that direction. But if we become stagnant, of course, that's not going to happen, right? But I can talk about that for the next 2 hours. We don't have
I know, right?
Training now, right? And I'm curious, because I talked with Avery when he was on the show a little bit about this, and I want to get your perspective. What is training with Avery like? Do you guys do more rounds? Is it more drills? And just tell us about like that experience of having a fellow world champion fighter who happens to be your brother that you can fight with. And then also, how often is Dad watching over that training, and what kind of?
Yeah, so it's fun. Like, I have a blast training with Avery. Avery, I'm 3 years older than him. So I remember the day he was born. And he's been my best friend ever since. So being able to train and do something like this with my best friend is so much fun. Like, it's amazing. We know each other. We push each other. And I appreciate that. I appreciate him. If he sees something's not right, like, he'll tell me right away, like, come on, pick it up. And I'll do the same to him. And we keep each other, we hold each other accountable. We keep each other honest. And that's great, because I need that. We do mostly drills. My dad is a firm believer that more drills than sparring. We spar one time a week, which is Fridays. Which is why I was, rushing, like, do the sparring, come this. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I love it. Drills are the hard part. We kill each other with drills, and that's how it should be, because the way you do drills is the way you're going to perform. If you do drills and you're slacking, you're going to see those same patterns when you're fighting in the tournament, and that's not how you want it to be. And training with Avery is good too. Number one, because he does different things and we see things different ways. And so if we're both coming with an idea, or we're both teaching something, and we pick up a new perspective, or pick up a way that someone else, the way he saw it or the way I saw it, and that's a lot of fun, because he's a smart fighter and he sees some things that I don't see, and that helps me. And different things that we do, I like doing with him too, because he's so big, and it's not like I will fight many women who are like 200 pounds. Like that 6 feet tall, that doesn't happen that often. But it helps, because if I do something on him and I'm trying to push somebody that's 200 pounds 6 feet tall, like that's more work for me. And that's a lot of fun. And when we're fighting with each other on Fridays, I fight him more than I fight anybody else in the room, because we make sure to find each other, because we pick off each other's brains. We do different things to really work with each other. And, somebody who I be committed with in the karate school on Fridays. And it's just cool. It's so cool. And my dad, he's very hands-on. He's very involved. And he's always right there. He's another person who will hold us accountable like he's supposed to. He'll tell us to pick it up, tell us if we're doing something wrong. And it's just another perspective, another great mind who is helping us see something a little bit different. I can remember a class that we had, and my dad was teaching, and he told us something, and I did not get it. Like, I did not get it at all. And he was telling us, he was breaking it down, and I was doing it. And I went home and I thought about it, and I was like, I really don't understand it. But a tournament came up, and I saw somebody do what he was talking about. And I was like, oh, it clicked. Like, I got it. Like, it's perfect. Like, this is exactly what he was talking about. But if he hadn't explained it, and I was watching these two fights, I would have just thought, it was just a normal thing that they did. But he had picked up on, or he had told us about it. So then in that moment, I could pick up on it and see it. And I appreciate things like that. It's fun. Like, I love learning. That's one thing with this sport. I've been doing this since 1996. And there's stuff that I could definitely improve on, always. And I love that about this sport, because you can always get better.
And that's one of the best things about being a martial artist, period, right? Is that we're always a white belt that never gave up, right? We're always trying to learn more from as many arts as we can, especially as sport karate competitors. We're always taking
absolutely
styles and trying to apply it. So now I want to take it from the martial arts school to the tournaments, as we're kind of talking about your relationship with your brother, your dad, right? And I asked Avery this question, so I had to flip it and ask you as well. When it comes to nerves, are you more nervous when you're in the ring fighting in a nighttime show, or are you more nervous watching Avery fight?
Definitely watching Avery. Like, no question. And he knows this. I always want to fight before him. If he fights before me, I hate it. Like, I'm a mess. And it's something at WKC in the finals, we fight multiple times. It starts off with men, it's 8 of them, and you have to fight your way down to 2. Women is 6, you fight your way down to 2. And it's back to back to back. So I might go out and fight, then Avery, or Avery might go out and fight next, then me. And sometimes I miss like half the fight, or he misses part of mine. We watch the beginning, see how it's going, we have to walk away. Because, it's nerve-wracking. I can control, for the most part, my nerves once I get in the ring. When Avery is fighting, I'm a mess. Now, there are moments where I kind of have to reel it in or tune it back when I'm coaching him, because I can't be a hot mess in the chair and I'm trying to tell him what to do. So I have to reel it in some, like put on a different hat, put on a different face for Morgan while I'm in this moment coaching him. I was so nervous at the Diamond Nationals 2019, coaching Avery on stage. It was just he and I that went to the tournament. I and Faith competed as well. I didn't compete that year. And so it was really just my parents weren't there. So it was just me coaching Avery, and it was fun. Like, I had a blast, but I was so nervous coaching him on stage. And I'm a big ball of nerves in the chair, just bouncing up and down. But you kind of have to zero in and get really focused. But yes, I'm definitely more nervous when Avery fights than when I fight.
I kind of expected that to be the answer. And that's
Yeah.
Avery. You and Avery both have been doing a lot of great work recently with Century Martial Arts as ambassadors for them. And I know that people who are into black belt probably see, the pictures that go up and see you guys in the catalog and all that. So I just wanted to give you the opportunity to talk a little bit more about that relationship.
Absolutely. So it's been a lot of fun working with Century. Century is a great brand. And they do great things for the martial arts community. It's great people there, as you know. Everyone's awesome. They're super nice. I was fortunate enough to go to the headquarters and see different things, and that was a lot of fun. So to have the opportunity to represent them, just as my person, it's a lot of fun. It's a blast. And Century does pretty cool things. I love their gear. Their uniforms are awesome. And yeah, they're great people, great stuff, great brand.
And that's one thing that I love so much is how they've started highlighting sport martial arts athletes so much more in recent years. Because I can remember, being a little kid in a local Taekwondo school, not having any idea what sport karate was, and opening up the Century catalog and seeing like Matt Emmett and being like, I want to be in that catalog one day.
Yes.
Little did I know that sport karate was the way to get there. See, myself as well as like you and Avery, among others, to be featured in that catalog now is just like the coolest thing in the world. So now we're going to shift from Avery and talk about your dad a little bit. You mentioned being in the coach's chair, but now I want to talk about the guy that's typically in that coach's chair, which is your dad. So just tell us a little bit about, you're in the ring on stage fighting for some prestigious title. What is it that he's doing in the coach's chair that is most valuable? Is it strategy? Is it the things he says mid-fight? Is it just his sense of calm that he's so well known for as a coach? What is it like as a fighter?
Yeah, so I don't think I can pinpoint one specific thing that he does, to be honest. It's just him in general. Like, he's really good. I'm fortunate, again, I know I said this before, I'm fortunate that he is one person in the world that knows me the best. So of course, as a coach, he's going to understand, and as my instructor, how to talk to me, how to coach me. Did I lose you? Can you hear me?
You're still here.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, perfect. But yeah, he's very calm. You mentioned that. And that's one thing that I appreciate, because I feel like in that moment, I know it's serious. Like, everything that he says, it's for a reason. And it's great. I would not rather have anyone else behind me. It's one story we talk about when I was fighting in New England Open years back. I was losing at the end of the first round, and losing pretty bad. It was either 4 or 5 points. And I walked over to him and he asked me, he was like, well, what do you think? And I was like, I feel off. And he was like, no, you don't. And I was like, you're right. I don't feel off. And, just something that little, like, that helped me. But he knows how to do that. Of course, strategy wise, he knows the game really, really, really well. I can remember being a kid and watching some people fight. We were in Chicago, and he would say what the person was doing next. And I'm like, how do you know that? Like, it was almost, intuition. But to be able to have that behind you and teaching you and instructing you is great. And the fact that I live with him, he knows what my training habits are. And he knows how to tell me if I'm not pushing myself enough. He won't say that. He won't say it outright. He won't say it directly, but he knows how to say it. And I need that sometimes, and I appreciate it also.
That's awesome. And I've got a specific question about the coaching, because I always wonder watching fighters at a high level, right? And especially when they have a high level coach like Dad or Mike Conroy or Damon or whoever it is that's sitting in that coach's chair, right? And, you hear these things like, D-side ready, she's coming. Like, you hear these things, right? As a fighter, like, for you personally, are you a good listener? Like, do you hear that and actually, like, adjust for what your dad is saying in the back of your head? Or do you kind of tune it out and you only really get that between rounds?
No, I hear him. Like I said, I've heard my dad's voice from the very beginning, so I know how to pick it up in a crowd, and I know how to listen when it's time to listen. So I'm definitely listening to it in the moment, in between the rounds, and after. I have to, otherwise, it'll be trouble to pay later. You have to listen. That's one thing Avery always says, that he and I listen better than everybody else. And you have to do that. Listen all the time. Everything that he says, there's a reason why he's saying it.
That's awesome. And that's one reason why I love the game that you and Avery play so much, is that even though your fighting styles have their own unique aspects, you can tell when each of you fight, you're both very cerebral, and it comes from your dad, and it comes from that strategy part of the game. And I find it so fascinating. And so now what we're going to do, we always do, since we started the new season of the podcast, we always give a little shout out to somebody from history. And we're now going to transition to a history highlight for this week of a fight between your dad, Richard Plowden, and the great Mafia Holloway up against him. And I'm going to go ahead and get the screen share going. And Morgan, I'm going to kind of let you take here and just tell us what you're seeing. I haven't started it just yet. Give me 1 second. But this is the last round of a team fight. This is Paul Mitchell and Metro All-Stars of the Diamond Nationals. And again, this is your dad and Mafia for the team fighting championship. Paul Mitchell's got a little bit of a lead, but I'm just going to hit play and let you go for it.
Okay.
I'll cut the audio so that we can hear Morgan here.
Okay, I know that stand, so I can definitely tell that's him. Yeah, and Coach Rodriguez, that's awesome. I don't think I've ever seen this, so this is pretty cool.
I was hoping to find one that would surprise you. I intentionally didn't pick the first one that came up on YouTube. I waited a little bit.
No, that's smart. Do you know where this was, Jackson?
This was Diamond Nationals. I forget the year. Shout out to Mike Gibbs, who posted this video, but I forget what it was. But this is Diamonds.
Mike was just in training with us tonight, so I'll have to mention this to him. That's his reverse punch style, and I know that.
As he always had that reverse punch ready. That's why I noticed watching a lot of the videos when I picked this.
Ooh, yeah, that's his right leg float.
That's his right leg float. Tell us more about that. Is that something that was another signature of his?
Yeah, so his right leg was the one that he preferred to kick with. I think he says it was a little better. Now the float was he'd take his back leg and kind of turn it down with the roundhouse kick. But yeah, his right leg, that back leg roundhouse kick was something that a lot of them would talk about, because he switched feet here, and he would throw his right leg.
It's so interesting. And I noticed watching this tape, seeing him throwing the rear leg kick, because you never see rear leg kicks thrown anymore at all, you know?
No, you don't. And it's one thing that he'll mention to us sometimes too, is, that back leg is not thrown very often today. I think the tempo of the way that we fight now has changed a little bit. But it is something that could definitely still be utilized, whether or not, it's back kicks or doing it the way that he's doing it now, throwing it offensively as a roundhouse kick. I've done it a couple times, successfully and unsuccessfully, and it is, pretty cool when you're able to score off that back leg, because it's not something we do very often.
Right, absolutely. But no, I just wanted to take that little trip down memory lane, and there's so many little little details in that video. such as the fighting with throwing the back leg round kick, but also just the more traditional karate stance. There wasn't really much of a bounce to fighting back then. You saw it occasionally, but those little differences like that, I just think are the coolest thing. But anyway, so go ahead and switch our screen back here. Now, last thing, now that we've had a chance to go down memory lane a little bit, let's look to the future. What's next for you? You've won everything there is to win. What else do you want to do in this sport? And then just in life, what's next?
Yeah. In the sport, like I still enjoy competing. I love doing it. So I don't see that stopping anytime soon. I have a blast doing it. But also teaching, and coaching when I can too. I love teaching. I love seeing the progress and seeing people come into their own and getting that confidence. That's a lot of fun for me. So in the karate world, yeah, that's a lot of fun. In life, I'm working right now. I'm always working. So that's something, it's not going to go away. But as I'm a project manager, and yeah, I'll keep project managing.
That's awesome. In typical Plowden fashion, always keeping the nose to the grindstone and keeping that hard work. And I'll just say personally, I hope to see you keep fighting for years to come. I never get tired of watching a Morgan Plowden fight.
Thanks, Jackson.
Absolutely. And the other thing for any of our young viewers, Morgan is a great role model, so make sure you guys are following her on social media. Truly the model of how a great sport karate competitor should carry themselves both in the ring and outside of the ring. So Morgan, thank you for always being such a positive influence for the entire community.
Thank you. And it's funny, one thing that happened, karate and my work life kind of merged itself together. You mentioned the Century catalog. Someone I worked with, one of the directors, actually, I was on a meeting and she mentioned, she's like, oh, guys, I was looking through this catalog. My son does karate and I was looking for a Christmas gift. And you guys won't believe what I saw. And on, video, I was like, oh, no. And she held up, the pictures of me in the Century catalog, showing everyone in the meeting. So, yeah, I thought that was a funny that opportunity that Century, presented to me and my work life kind of merged together. That was pretty cool.
That is funny. So last thing that we're going to get to tonight, and I'm going to keep Morgan on screen for this as we move on to our hashtag JRP challenge segment, because just like last week, our challenge was to post a one-legged kicking combo because Jeff Doss was our guest. Now that we've got Morgan Plowden as the guest, here's your challenge this week. Post a video of you doing any point fighting drill you want. That's right. Typically the challenge is for forms and weapons competitors. This one's for you point fighters. Post a video of you doing any point fighting drill. Put it on Instagram or Facebook. Tag me, tag Black Belt Magazine, and put hashtag JRP challenge. And then just like this week, we get some good entries. I will feature you guys on screen in the podcast. Once again, hashtag JRP challenge. All you got to do, video of you doing a point fighting drill. Morgan, do you have a favorite drill you want to see him do?
Ooh, something that incorporate blitz, a reverse punch blitz.
Mm-hmm. That answer will make Dad proud if you're throwing the reverse. Anyway, so that is the JRP challenge for this week. Morgan, once again, thank you for taking the time this evening. We really appreciate it. Any last words for our audience here?
No, Jackson, I want to thank you for bringing me on. This was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. I'm sure we'll have you back on the show again after some of these big tournaments happen and Morgan racks up some more wins. So to everybody tuning in, thank you all for the love and support. Once again, if you enjoy the show, hit that share button so we can spread this to as many martial artists as possible. Drop those comments down below. Lots of exciting topics today that we want the community to be discussing. So make sure you're dropping those comments, letting everybody know what you think too. That'll do it for the Jackson Rudolph Podcast this week. I'm Jackson Rudolph. That's Morgan Plowden. This has been episode 90 of the Jackson Rudolph Podcast, and I'll see you next time.